Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the second test match between South Africa and the West Indies. It's looking overcast at the moment in Johannesburg. The South Africans, with Temba Bavuma as the captain, were able to win the toss and did decide that they'd be having a bat. And also, a key to mention, South Africa making 4 changes to their lineup after last week's victory. I would say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is it going to backfire for the South Africans? We will have to wait and see. But we see Ryan Rickleton added into the side. Also, they have still got Klaasen as the keeper. Mulder makes his way into the side. Maharaj has come in as well. And then also Simon Harmer, the last injection into the side. Just the one change for the West Indies, deciding to keep it relatively similar. They had good moments throughout their last test match, just not quite able to get that end result. We have got Mum has said, guess what I bought myself? What did you get? Mum? I could guess a lot of things, but I think a majority of them would be wrong. The only change that they've decided to make here is actually going to be, I believe the one change is Motti, actually, the one bowler coming in, and that is for Shannon Gabriel, who has been ruled out for this test match. But these bowlers, Holder, Joseph, Roach, Motti, all have to bowl extremely well. Mayers as well. He gets a beautiful amount of swing. He actually ends up with the most out of any of the West Indian sides. Well, majority of the test match, but the West Indies looking forward to this big opportunity to go out there, get a few early wickets up against the West Indies. There is a lot on the line. At the end of the day, this is a must-win for South Africa. West Indies would love to be able to cause an upset, though. This taking place in Joburg. Clue 2 cents has about 1 million of different kinds, so I assume it's a kit of some sort then, because he's got quite the collection. Is it a Chiefs kit, or have you already got a Chiefs kit? The guess that I'm going to go with is the Super Rugby Aupiki Women's Chiefs kit. Lock it in. Very specific, but we'll go with it, see whether or not we are right. Going to be Dean Elgar on strike. He's going to be facing from the call it drive end. They have gone with, I believe that is going to be Roach, the first bowler for the West Indies. And good morning from England. Yes to both, says Novmum. Work to the leg side, nicely done by Elgar, and he will end up with a single off the very first ball. The question is, did he get back? He did not, so it will just be a leg by, I should say. Or the South Africans, the men's kit. So the latest one, I assume, Novmum, or did you go with an old school one? That's the thing, some of the old school kits look just as nice, and they're about half the price. That was actually rhyming. Should write that one down. Sub chicken bot. But says Amelia, welcome in. You are doing well. Now Aidan Markram going to be on strike here. Roach will be the first bowler. I'm hoping the scoreboard soon decides to update. There we go. Perfect. 3 slips at the moment in play. Solid in behind it for Markram. Looked like pace was a little bit down for Roach, 124 case. Still building into it. 260 wickets throughout his 77 matches here. Kumar Roach. And Artie should not have been banned. Hard one wasn't good look, and you can't have a situation where people think I can do whatever I like so long as I apologise straight after the game. They should have said one game for what he did in the fight and the gesture. That way they send the wrong message and have some wiggle room. So he's banned for 1 match, isn't he? So he's banned for how long you've said there, Xavier, isn't he? I think he got a 1 match ban in the end, Artie Savia. And yes, 2022-23, got some money from his sister, splashed out. Also going to the games Friday and Saturday, so hopefully you do end up enjoying them. Who the Chiefs got? They've got the Highlanders, don't they? And their Friday night fixture. And then the women's side, I believe they're versing the Matatu. Or Matutu, I think it is. I think that's who they're playing. What is the weather like in New Zealand? As it's been snowing in England this morning. It's been quite nice overall. Like, we're supposed to get rain tonight and possibly rain tomorrow, but we're currently sitting 19 degrees Celsius. That's not too bad overall. Another single. This time Markram ends up getting it. And yes, Matatu, says Novmum. Wasn't a mile off for either guesses, was it? That was not a sentence that I just said. Markram also yet to get a run. Both runs coming from leg buys outside of off stump. Elgar leaves it alone. Smart move. We did see him go out early in the first innings. Well, not out, but he had a chance of going out, but it was dropped. And that was a massive mistake from the West Indies. You got to take your early chances. And they weren't able to do that. So this is a test match where any drop catch could cost them 50 plus runs, just like it did the last one with Elgar. Now Roach charging in. Final ball of his over, a little bit straighter there. Please do PSL live stream, says Alimur Gaming. They're normally on at about 3 a.m. New Zealand time, I believe, aren't they? The PSL. It's one of the unfortunate things about the Pakistan Super League and the IPL is both of them take place during times when we're normally sleeping or finishing late night editing and then sleeping. So have a look at the PSL for tonight. I believe I'll find out it's on in about 6 hours' time. There we go. PSL, 3 a.m. New Zealand time when it does end up starting on every single day. Other than on Sunday, there's a 10 p.m. game between Islamabad and Peshawar. That's actually at 10 p.m. Just showing the South African batting lineup. Bavuma, ever since becoming captain, he's been quite unlucky, getting 2 ducks. 1 golden, 1 not so golden. So that means that they ditched, who have they lost? They've lost Janssen. They've lost the other youngster, Muthusami. Alzari Joseph now bowling his first over, though. Who else have they kicked out of their bowling attack? They don't actually have Nokia there, which is a bit of a surprise. I assume maybe injury for that man. They've actually stuck with the youngster Kutsia. And then there's one other player who I'm missing. Yeah, I didn't say that they've replaced. Not too sure who it would have been. Just thinking through it. I'm sure someone will let me know. Markram on strike to Joseph. That's doing something off the seam there. Just moving away a little bit from the right-hander. 141k, so straight away into his work, getting nice speed on the ball. Just showing the replay of that delivery out. Just managed to swing away. Then the seam got involved as well. So this might be quite a tough little patch to face as an opening batsman. That is if Alzari Joseph can keep that line in length, not stray away from it. A little bit shorter. Not sure why he tried that. That's going to be 4 runs for Markram. Onto it early. Saw it. Plenty of space out there as well. So there was nothing protecting that boundary. We do live commentary of AEW Dynamite. Says Kiwi Gamer. Maybe not. We've thought about a few different events in terms of mixed martial arts or WWE, AEW that we could do, but we never quite end up pulling the trigger on it. Unfortunately, I actually paid for the pay-per-view for AEW Revolution, but we didn't live stream it. Mainly because due to all the other live streams, I had to watch it at about 3 a.m. or finished it at 3 a.m. on that night just to be able to squeeze it in. Markram, he would have quite enjoyed that short ball from Alzari Joseph. Bit of a freebie. Help him get his iron. Yeah, there's just no one there. And Markram knew that. Got above the bounce of the ball. Just hoiked it away. Very nicely done. Pitched up again outside of off stump. Not willing to go for that cover drive as of yet. Just the 1 ball remaining. They've got the man at bat pad, which could be effective if he did throw that short ball in when the ball's a bit older. But for now, I think he's only really there for that little accidental pop when he reaches out a bit further. Like I mentioned, 3 slips gully. I've got the backward point. 2 men down the ground quite close. That's a good delivery to close out the over. That'll be 6 for none. Alzari Joseph, I should say, having some success last week. The last test match between the two sides. Of course, South Africa able to walk away with the win for that one. West Indies, I'd love to be able to fire back in this test match. In the series 1-1, I believe that would hurt the South Africans' chance of going through the World Test Championship side of things. I haven't actually worked completely out what has to happen because I know that Australia winning up against India slightly threw a spanner in the works as well. Well played by Elgar. Being on top of the bounce of the ball. Yeah, we just have to have a patient innings here. He's got a smile on his face, so I think a couple of the West Indian players might be chatting away to him. Elgar sitting 8th at the moment on the overall run scorers. He still needs another 400 before he passes Boscia, and then almost 1,000 more. Oh, taking the quick single, getting through nicely as well. Good work from the skipper. We'll go like this and like this. There we go. I know that my software has been glitching a little bit in terms of when messages come through. You know, Azim Khan. Name sounds familiar. Is he a player in the PSL? Are they about gaming or am I thinking of someone else? Roach, nice pitched up delivery once again and behind it for Markram. The last thing you want as an opening batsman is to lose your wicket early for having your pegs knocked over. I'll be willing to just patiently build up through this, of course. Total overs in a test match, you can have 450. That's quite a lot. That is actually, if you went 450 balls, that I believe is more than we play. Almost doubled in a game. We do normally. We only play 80 overs in total. That is 40 for each once again. Solid and behind it. 129 Ks for Roach. Looks like a decent crowd for today compared to what we saw last test match. They did only really have kids at the last test, whereas today it looks like there's a few more adults who have decided to go to the ground. Don't get me wrong, it's still really empty. It just looks like they've packed them into one area. Oh, that's almost a nutter. Where'd that hit? It looks like he jiggled it a bit, so maybe it did hit somewhere close. Marius Erasmus doesn't look phased by the fact that Markram almost got knocked in the nether regions. Ball rifle, the other referee. Sorry, umpire. He's from Australia, so does that mean we've got 3 reviews or 2? Because I guess one of them is a neutral umpire, but the other is not. So maybe it is still 3 reviews for each of the sides. It'll be the end of the 3rd over now, 7 for none. Match. Both men being relatively slow in the way they're built up. Just that one freebie for Markram that he was able to hook. Get away to the boundary. Dean Elgar getting that quick single at the start of the last over. There is actually plenty of cricket coming up in the near future as well. I should mention we've got Australia versus India starts tomorrow. Sri Lanka versus New Zealand starts tomorrow. That will be an entertaining test match. Actually starts at 11 a.m. New Zealand time. And the cool thing about it is I might be able to watch that test match all throughout the day. Now, I will mention we probably won't be doing the live stream of that test match. It's nothing against the two sides. It is more of the case of the last copyright strike we received from cricket was from a Sri Lankan YouTube channel. So we don't want to risk it, even though it's going to be on home turf in New Zealand. I'll be watching that one closely, hoping the Kiwis get themselves a win. And that is from an impartial point of view. Now, Hamish, how long will you be on live stream for the first day? We will probably just do the first session of today so that I am able to get up relatively early tomorrow to watch that first day of the Black Caps. Tomorrow, Thursday, isn't it? So we've got cricket training in the afternoon as well, if it's not raining. Our last 3 cricket trainings, I think, or at least our last 2, have actually been rained off, which hasn't been ideal, but somehow our team has made it through to the final, which we are going to be playing in this weekend, which should be an exciting one to be involved in. They're just showing the way that Elgar got dismissed in the first innings. Been very disappointed with that one. So Elgar's the one that Joseph should be trying the short ball to rather than Markram, who looks like he's well and truly comfortable playing short. Joseph charging in again. This will be the third ball of his second over. It's on the leg side a little bit, and Chanderpaul fields it mid-wicket. What we'll quickly do is, I think I've missed one other match, haven't I? So there's India versus Australia. There's New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. There is, of course, this match, South Africa West Indies. There's also another cricketing match coming up, and I believe it is the T20s actually taking place between England and Bangladesh. The first of which is not too far away. That's a nice pitched up delivery, just punching it forward, Markram, using the pace of the ball. Easy runs, really. As long as you get him bat on it, you're going to be finding success. And very nice shot from Markram. Did start off with a very good innings in the first session of the first test match, the first innings. Going to quickly look. So South Africa already find themselves as a 99, or sorry, not 99, but about a 90% likeliness of winning this test match. And we are only 3.4 overs in. Oh, beautifully played. Markram catches up with it with the bat, and that is a little bit too straight from Alzadi. Joseph starting to get punished here. Markram moves up to 12 runs off 16 deliveries. Tried out the Yorker, 145 K, so he at least whipped it down there. But didn't quite get that one right. Very well played as well. Good wrist speed from Markram. That is a shot that I do not have, as the flick it off the leg side. Who wins the last test in India? I mean, I think India they shot themselves in the foot for that last test match because they produced a pitch that they thought they'd thrive on, but it actually ended up working the opposite. It ended up with Nathan Lyon being the guy picking up a lot of wickets. Same with Kuhneman. He was able to bowl very well. So I think this next pitch is definitely going to favour India, but it's not going to favour them to the point of that last pitch that they produce. So, to be honest, as much as I'd like to see Australia win it to make it a 2-all series, I think India will take out the third. Just because the pressure will be so much more on them. And I think they would have worked out the perfect pitch to be able to produce. Looking through at the starting lineup. Muti in there for the West Indies. That is rather than Gabriel. Rabada and Kutsia keep their spots in the bowling attack. Janssen missing. Also no sign of Nokia. Then they've got Maharajan, that is rather than Muthusami, who didn't really get too much of a bowling attempt. Nicely played off the pads there for Elgar. Should race close to the boundary. Well fielded though, keeping it to maybe just the 3. They do very nicely run between the wickets. Yeah, South Africa certainly mixing things up. The Sorzi got to keep his spot, which is quite cool to see, just because he is such a new name into their lineup. Well fielded in the deep. Those are quite large boundary barriers. Probably sitting about 5-6 inches tall. You'd hope that they're soft, or else that is probably going to be quite painful for the players when they run into them. Now Roach. Ooh, that was close to the stumps. Came back in that time rather than going away. Markram left it on length, which is safe to do on day 1. But if you start doing that on about day 4 or 5, find yourself in a little bit of trouble. That was probably that much over the stumps, somewhere around there. We're just going to have another look. And yeah, about that. Over the stumps for him. Not too much of a worry. And De Silva taking it nicely in his gloves. Hi, says Brandon. Hello, Brandon. You are doing well. Back foot punch there. Goes out to the man at point. No run taken here again. Now they've got Alzari Joseph there at backward point, and that slightly concerns me because we saw one in the last test where he wasn't really walking in and didn't look like he was ready for a catching chance. So it did fall short of him. And he seems like a cool, collected customer, how he just chills. Best way of describing it, he's just chilling in the field. I says, Beds of Blaze, hello. Hope you're doing well, Petty. Charging in now. Pitched up delivery outside of off stump. Left alone by Markram again. How do you guys think the test match between Sri Lanka and New Zealand will end up going? My voice is almost gone already. And it's a Wednesday. Don't know how that is possible. I'm good, thank you. And how are you, mate? I'm doing all right, other than the fact that my voice trying to disappear. Not good. And how you season of mum? Now Roach running in again. 2 balls left of the over, pitched up and well played by Markram. New Zealand will win by day 4. Says Bads ablaze. So here's the thing. Sri Lanka's probably one of those sides that in the last maybe 2 years or so, I haven't really watched a huge amount of their cricket. And that is mainly because of the copyright strike, to be honest. We ended up not being able to cover their game, so we didn't get to talk about their team, talk about the players that they've got. Like, I probably would only be able to name a few of their players that are taking part in the test tomorrow. No, Beds Blaze. Guess what? I splashed out and got myself today. There's not much. Oh, that ended up hitting the pad. I think he might have chipped it into it. That'll be the end of the over. 19 without loss for the South Africans. So 5 overs down. Still both openers out there. Exactly what you need. Chiefs jersey. Exactly right. I've still got mine in the wardrobe at the moment. My Chiefs get that Johnny Blaze ended up sending me. Just showing the West Indies tour of Zimbabwe. The first match was drawn. The second test, West Indies won by an innings and 4 runs. I believe that is a bit of a trend that the West Indies have had. They don't play so well in their first match, and then they seem to improve in the next one. Outside of off stump, left alone. Joseph looking angry at the moment. Gone for 13 runs off just his 13 balls, in fact. Elgar, he's faced 9 deliveries, sitting on 5. Yet to get himself a boundary, but I think Alzadi Joseph, the best thing to do is to just keep on getting it across. I'm one of my youngest. I won one for my youngest, has his name on it, and it probably too small for me. And I have my own. Says Novmum. How old's your youngest, Novmum? So I still bought that Melbourne Stars kit ages ago that I thought would fit me. Or actually, I think I got it from Mum because I bought her the Melbourne Stars app, but then it was green, so it didn't really work for the live streams. But yeah, we ended up getting a Melbourne Stars kit, and it was extremely small. It was like a child's medium rather than an adult medium. And the worst thing is, we got it sent from Australia, so get it returned was going to be quite the tricky scenario. Short ball, Elgar went after it. Didn't quite line it up, though. It was outside of off stump, tried to hit it to leg. It was playing it purely on length rather than whereabouts the ball was heading. Yeah, just showing there the ICC World Test Championship rankings. Australia at the top, the 68%. India in second, sitting on 60.2. And then it goes Sri Lanka and South Africa. So still a chance for both of those sides as they slowly build up. New Zealand sitting there with a die at 27.27%. Not ideal. On the front foot again for Elgar, no run taken. Here's 13, but it is one wrong by, it is one worn by one of the players, so rather form-fitting and well being a female, says Novmum. So yeah, it would have been one of those performance jerseys, was it? Kind of like you mentioned, they're not very giving. They kind of just hug the body. So you feel like if you had a sleeve, rather than having a little bit of looseness, it would be just like that, just squeezing. Oh, no, that's it. Elgar in the box. He didn't like it. Going to take a little moment to breathe, or try to breathe. And morning there, Hamish and cricket funders watching. It's wet and rainy here in Cape Town today, so How far away is Cape Town from Johannesburg? I know that that's a question that I should know the answer to. Not the best with my South African geography, unfortunately, but the chance of it raining here should be very slim if it's raining, or at least if it's fine here but raining in Cape Town, I believe. Hello, bro, says Ryan. Welcome in. You are doing well, mate. Left alone again from Algay. And I did see that England won that ODI series 2-1, which was close to my prediction. I said that either side's going to win it 2-1, but I said that it would be 1-1 going into the last match, whereas it was 2-0 for England. They are just showing that shot from Elgar. When they bowl it short, he is able to whip it straight over the top of the slip cordon, but then it is actually the case of that's normally where he finds himself getting dismissed. And both of the two innings was actually that ramp shot. Nice white t-shirt, Hamish. Let's hope a good batting. Elgar needs to concentrate on those loose shots. Back to the leg side again. No run taken. Hamish, brother, please do Bangladesh versus England first T20 live stream. I did put it there on the schedule, but the problem is I don't think it's being shown in New Zealand again. Also, Johannesburg is about 1,000 kilometres from Cape Town. Okay, so it should be all right then. Tell you what, we'll have a look at the weather in Joburg, though, and see whether or not it's supposed to rain today. Because it is overcast, but the sun's coming out. It should be relatively nice, I believe. Alone again. So, Peterson. Oh, Peterson was the other man that they did end up taking out. Forgot about him. So we'll go Johannesburg. What we got today? It's supposed to be sunny, cloudy later on tonight. Today, tomorrow, doesn't look like there's any rain. Looks like it's going to be very dry, which is good news for this test. And average Bangladesh give chances to England to win the series. There's Ryan there. Now Roach again. He's only gone for 4 runs. He's only gone for 8 runs. One's whipped away to the boundary by... That was Markram. Got onto the cover drive early. And, yeah, double the runs that he has gone for. It's March seasons. Changing cold Atlantic Ocean air coming in here is Ruth. I really hope it's not supposed to be raining on Saturday here. Because every other game that we've had on a Saturday in the last, 4 weeks has almost been raining. Luckily, Saturday looks all right. It's supposed to rain on Friday. Not supposed to rain on Saturday, hopefully. So that is actually when our cricket final will be. Is that rain? What is that? Was that rain or was that just something off the roof? Might have been something off the roof, but I have a bad feeling that that might have just been rain that I just saw. But I can't see rain anywhere else, so maybe it wasn't. That was really weird. It was the shot from the stadium roof. It looked like there was water dripping down. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it was just a whole heap of bugs. Oh, he tried to swing for that one, Markram. Got a little bit too keen. Got to be patient. Wait for that right ball to put away. He's already got the 4 runs off this over. Doesn't need to rush it. Looks disappointed in himself as well there, Markram. Yeah. Bit of a swing there. Oh, that was close to the outside edge. I don't think that was rain that we saw. I think that was either bugs or maybe dripping off the roof. But that was maybe just from earlier on, maybe some precipitation. West Indies need some magic. Good line of length. Good bounces too, says Roof. That'll be the end of the over. It'll be 23 for none. Just like that, 30 minutes down in the session. Absolutely fly by. They're a little bit behind in terms of the over rate, but I'm sure they'll catch that up. Definitely if they do bowl Roston Chase at some stage. So Ryan Rickleton's been added in, and I believe he's added in purely for a batsman point of view. Rather than it was Peterson who did find himself there. But the good news for them is Clarkson can also wicket keep, so they've got that double option just in case there is an injury. Good evening, Mr. Girth, says Chad. Hello, Chad. You are doing well. Do let me know who you think will be taking out this test match. I don't think I've ever been called Mr. Girth. I don't think that's a nickname that has stuck with me ever. It's not looking. Oh, wait, what's happened here? It was a no ball off the final delivery for Roach. So now they actually have to go back again. Oh, so they've said it's a blatant no ball, and now they're going to have to bowl that last one again. Well, that won't help the over rate. South Africa batters mustn't rush and take chances with these dangerous shots. Don't lose early wickets, otherwise mountain to climb later. Says Rev. Exactly. If they keep this opening partnership going, they'll find themselves some success, I feel. And then the difference between a big score and that not so big score is actually what their middle order do after these first couple guys go out. We saw Elgar score runs and Markram last week, but the big problem was for them after that. What was next in terms of who was able to get those big runs? We saw their bottom order really fall over, unfortunately, but then still find some fight in there every once in a while with 15 runs. Are they checking this again? Come on, Roach, get the foot behind the line. It's a fair delivery here from Marius Erasmus, who has heard it in his ears, and that will be the end of the seventh over. Markram being the slightly more aggressor, I guess you could say, out of the two. Play that beautiful cover drive. Also has done a straight drive and a pull shot. Those are the three boundaries that we've seen from Markram. I believe he's got the runs alongside that. And what was the thing that with Bangladesh captain making some remarks? Great shot from Elgar. A race away to the boundary. 4 runs now for the ex-skipper of the South African side. What did I miss? Or what did I miss anything, Kiwi lads? But wonderful stuff again. I don't know what happened with the Bangladesh captain. I haven't really heard too much about that series, mainly because they didn't show it here in New Zealand, sadly. But yeah, hopefully it's not as bad as Artie Savi, eh? He got a match ban, and lol, that took 3 to 5 business days to complete. That's true. Yeah, it took a little bit of extra time. It's like when they tell you it's going to be 2 to 7 days, and you think it's going to arrive on like the third day. That's a great shot from Elgar, and it arrives on the 7th, right on the verge of missing out. That is a great shot. And this new ball's already looking a little bit old from South Africa, hitting 6 boundaries so far, all 4s. But Elgar just playing that one, rocking back to the leg side and raced away to the boundary. It was out of the middle of the bat as well, even though it didn't look like the most comfortable shot to play. Still managed to get onto it. Now they've got someone at deep square leg, so they've had to change their field here, the West Indies. I think that's just Alzarri Joseph not really playing to a plan at this stage, or bowling to a plan. They're going to take on the quick single again. They'll get through. Well run from the South Africans. Shame, naughty boys, of being in the spotlight. Says Roof there. I'm looking forward to the final that we've got this weekend, because I think we're going to have the GoPro fired up. Maybe. So that will be quite fun, being able to watch the final through a GoPro perspective. Just like we have for a couple of the other matches, which you guys haven't seen yet. They've been filmed. I just haven't finished them yet. All right, Hamish, I have 20 minutes break before my next class. Thanks for the commentary, says Josh. No worries at all, mate. You've been enjoying your teaching. What time is it at the moment for you, Josh? Oh, great. Sorry, I almost called you Josh there. The Josh rather than Joss. I added an H. What a shot that is from Markram. The on drive. One of the best shots in a test match to play. That one races to the boundary. I guess the good news is they've got a lot of children watching this game, and they'll want to be watching South Africa bat rather than bowl. Don't get me wrong, kids love watching the bowling sometimes, but it's when those runs are being scored that they really enjoy it. And 12:35 p.m. Okay. My time zones were way off. So you guys must be 8, no, 9 hours behind us. And also, we have got the Artie deserves his punishment for supporting Dane Coles, number one grub. Says Stephen and A, mate. Says Burning 1AC. Have you changed your name, Burning 1AC? And what was your old name? Because I recognize the profile picture, but I don't think your name was Burning 1AC. My brain's trying to work, but I can't remember. That's going to be a band. All got their big instruments. I believe there's some drums there, a bass drum, a few trombones, a trumpet, a what's that one called? The big, not a bugle. Yes, used to be cash AC. That's the one. What's those big like sideways ones? Not a tuba. It might be a tuba, but it also might not be. Gotta remember my brass instruments. I have day off. Yeah, you can tune into your commentary. Some sixes over that roof. Come on, here, Lance Klusner or David Warner. Says the roof. It'll be the end of the eighth over. 38 for none now. He's gone for 26 runs off 4 overs from Alzari Joseph. At a guess, I would say he won't be bowling again. Or he won't be continuing this spell anyway, because that is quite an expensive one compared to Roach, who's gone for 9 runs. That band know how to play some tunes, though. I don't know what tune they're playing, but it sounds all right. Although that's normally the case when you get a band of brass instruments. Like, they could play something that sounds completely terrible, but because of, like, 2 of them harmonizing with their instruments, sounds all right. Also, just found out there's a guy by the name of something. Hello, did you get a haircut? Says Mr. Cautious Pets. I did get one a little while ago, maybe about a month or so. Used to have the longer hair, then I got sick of it. It was mainly just because it kept on getting tangled, and no matter how much you brushed it, it would still get tangled again. Like at the moment, it doesn't sit right though. There's a part here that every time I go to sleep, I wake up and it's standing straight upwards, like I've rubbed it on a balloon. You guys ever do that? Rub a balloon on your head and then it makes all the hair stand up? Fun. I bet you, Joss, you've probably done that as a teacher. It's going to be an on drive straight down to the man who is fielding there, Motti, the new man for the West Indies. Nice. Vuvuzela, says Stephen. And Hamish, how is Liverpool? Yeah, 7-0, my home. Or my team, Liverpool, you never walk alone, says Roof. Ryan Rickleton, who has 15 first-class centuries for South Africa, wasn't being selected by South Africa, 15 first-class tons, 46 innings. Yeah, I see that Ryan Rickleton found himself in the starting lineup. I think he's batting 5, if I'm not wrong. Oh, that was off the outside edge of Algar. Moves up to 14 off 19. That is from those 2 quick boundaries. Just tick over those runs. Sorry, I wasn't listening. What do you think that I've done? Says Joss. Probably some sort of thing with like a balloon. You know how when you used to like rub a balloon on your head and then like if you put it away, the hairs would stand up? That's some sort of science thing, isn't it? So maybe you've done it with like a balloon and like, you know how you rip up some newspaper? You rub the balloon on your hand or like onto some pants or something, and then when you pick it up, the paper goes with it. Time to get dreadlocks, dude, says Roof, because he's sick of not being picked. Or might be coming out these ways. Really? He's actually in their side today, Ryan Rickleton. One was a little bit down leg. Roach was asking for the LBW, but he wasn't completely committed. He knew that it wasn't out, but he thought he'd try anyway, just to see if the umpire was being generous. Markram now on strike, 21 off 33 deliveries. Once again, plays it well. Static electricity will try and attach something on here for you, says Joss. I wonder if it will come through. I know that for some reason, sometimes links don't show up. What else have we done with that? I feel like there are other things that we did at school. I mean, we used to do paper mache with balloons. We had to make a pig out of paper mache. Markram. On strike. And once again, solid and minor. End of the ninth over. will be 40 for none. That's probably why he got picked, trying to keep him in South Africa. Says birding 1AC. I remember back at school, we did paper mache when we were about maybe even 5 years old. We all had to make a paper mache pig. And the teacher was actually a fill-in who we did have at high school later on in our schooling ventures. But she said that she forgot that the paper mache pigs were dangling from the lights, or sorry, dangling from the ceiling fan, and turned the fan on, and they all got thrown around and broken. So she actually spent the night remaking all of our paper mache pigs so that we wouldn't notice. She only told us that when we were at high school, but no one even noticed that their pigs had been destroyed and that there was a new pig in their place. Now, Kyle Mayers, it's a lot of swing for South Africa, could be a handy option here. They just need to make sure that they take their catches. I'm looking straight at Blackwood when I say that. He's the one who put down Algar last one. That's down the lee side. Not quite getting the line right early on. South Africa play bad in this test. Rickleton can laugh his head off. I'll do the same. Selectors are sometimes a bunch of twits, says Ruth. Like this and like this. Here we go. Is it just your hair that you find sticking up when you wake up in the morning? Some ladies might like to know, says Stephen. I see where you're going with that one, Stephen. Um, my hair is certainly the first thing I notice that's standing up. Mainly because it's like all of this part goes straight out. And you make sense here in New Zealand, especially. And hey, how are you, brother? What's your thoughts on this weekend Super Rugby matches? Says Kyle. Oh, a little bit of a leg cutter, I believe that was from Mayers. But I hope you're doing well, Kyle. I'm doing well too. This weekend's games, there's some big ones coming up. There is Crusaders versus Fiji and Drua, which I think will be an outstanding game. Hurricanes versus Blues. That's going to be a great one. What else? We got Highlanders Chiefs, don't we? And then actually three other matchups taking place, including Western Force versus Moana Pacifica. It'll be interesting. I feel like a lot of people want to see some close matches of Super Rugby, seeing as we have had such a wide spread. Certain times our selectors in New Zealand aren't that good. Hopefully they get some fresh blood next year, says Burnham 1AC. Now I just show Markram. He's been working on his test match technique, playing the ball right underneath the eyes. Hamish, they do ask you odd questions. They do, yes. Definitely. And can't wait for the NRL, says Kyle. Yeah, we're still hoping to cover a few games of the NRL on the channel. We did get to do a bit of pre-season with the Warriors. Who do the Warriors? They play 5 o'clock on Saturday against the Roosters, don't they? So that overlaps with Super Rugby, sadly. But who's playing tomorrow night? I'm going to quickly do a Google while we've got a break in overs. NRL Rabbitohs versus Panthers tomorrow night. So we might end up covering that one on the channel, perhaps, if that is something you guys are keen on. Now, Mayers getting that one to come back in a little bit. Markram gets it under the eye, and yeah, 5 p.m. New Zealand, says Kyle. In fact, that will now be the end of the 10th over, 41 for none. West Indies, they need a wicket and they need it soon. If they don't end up with one by the end of this session, they could be in for a 400 plus innings for the South Africans, I'd say. So far, throughout this test series, South Africa has got Markram at the top, sitting on 183 runs. Blackwood in second with 116. Then Algar on 87. Reefer on 70. And actually, Gerald Kutsia sitting on 37 runs from his 2 innings. The South Africans, short ball. Oh, beautifully played from Algar once again. It was just that little bit of that in-between length. Not quite short enough to pull. Not quite full enough to be able to do the drive out through mid-wicket. So Algar just tries to pretty much use his strength and just whack it away. My hair is untamed. Looks like a disco queen from the 80s. No hairbrush can tame my hair, says Ruth. See, I don't know about like the disco queen for me, but I know that when I had the longer hair, it would just get tangled and then I'd brush it and it would get untangled. And then the next day after I went to sleep, it would get tangled again. And then I'd have to try and untangle. And it just got to the stage how I was constantly untangling it. So I was like, yep, nah, had enough of the long hair for now. Dean Elgar, not looking too comfortable with this delivery. What happens with this ball? Oh, yeah, no, he didn't look comfortable at all. Looked like he was preparing to get struck in the groin. He played again. I was very lucky today at cricket training. I almost got hit in the box, but I ended up hitting the side out on the kind of the waistline. I'll probably have a big circle there and also one on my foot where I got nailed by a Yorker. But other than that, should be good to go for this weekend's final. Thoughts on the last Black Caps match versus England was a great match. It was, and I think it was a perfect example of a match that everyone thought New Zealand were out of it. Then New Zealand had those little bit of the had a bit of a fight back. Then they had that mistake from Bracewell with his run out, and it looked like they were then out of it again, and then it just went right down to the wire. But yeah, very good test match. Watch an enjoyable one on both parts. And that's dreadlocks, Hamish. Just dye it red, yellow, and green, says Ruth. I don't know how they'd go if if I had the multicolored dreadlocks. GMI, your box, says Nazi Williams. You are luckily just missed, or else I wouldn't have told this story because I'd probably still be bunched in a ball. Sorry, I had teacher pop in. Did it open? How did your match go over the weekend? Says Joss. So, the match, we were going to be playing up against a very tough side in our semi final, and it was going to be up against some guys who were coming back from Australia to join up with their team, and it rained. So, due to a technicality of us being higher on the table than them, we go through to the final, which I feel like we should have had a rescheduled final at some stage, you know, or a rescheduled semi final. I feel like that was one of those games you would have loved to win to prove that you should be in the final. But yeah, we've got our final this weekend now, and hopefully it doesn't rain. It might have been no future junior Kiwi lads, says no mum. And when do they next play? The Black Caps actually start playing tomorrow. They've got their game up against Sri Lanka, which is going to be taking place. What's happening now? Looks like Elgar, he needs a brand new back grip by the looks of it. Oh, no, that's actually the part that goes on the back of the helmet, I believe. For Elgar. It's called Just as they were importing players, says Joss Pike. Yeah, it seemed a bit serious, to be honest. It's like you're playing up against the side in third grade. So that's like the grades go senior, second grade, third grade. And they were bringing their players back for a third grade match. The other game ended in a bit of controversy as well because a certain team actually brought certain players in who weren't supposed to be playing, and those certain players got most of their runs. So there was almost the case of one side had to or would have got through on a disqualification, but instead I think they all agreed that it was fine. So we're playing a side that we played 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. That's the way it's ended up. Nice shot from Elgar again. Another 4 runs. They're starting to breeze by South Africans here. Also, Nazi Green Crusaders. Where's Shane Warne? Shane miss him. He livened up matches, says Roof. Come on, the West Indies, South Africa, move it on scoreboard. Someone do something exciting now. Ooh, well played. And also the Black Caps need to whitewash Sri Lanka for South Africa to qualify for the World Cup. Go the Black Caps, says Joss. And Hamish, apologies for not being able to hang out in here for any longer. Looking forward to more test commentary from you. Australia versus India, fourth test perhaps with the fingers crossed. Little emojis there. We'll try our best. I know that their test match, if it goes more than the 2 days, will be good. But the problem is they keep on ending so early, so it makes it tricky. That's a great straight drive again. That's going to be another 4 runs for Elgar. He's almost going out a run a ball at the moment. Just straight drive, cover drives, all day boundaries. And he now moves up to 32 off 34 deliveries. And isn't the box called the Family Jewels, says Roof? Pretty much, or it protects the family jewels, which is quite impressive that it's such a little, well, like it's just a plastic cover. Like, it's not made of anything harder than plastic. It's just flexi plastic, smacks into it. You hope it bounces off, doesn't go straight through. I know Kane Williamson had one that hit him in the box. He took the box out and it had been completely shattered. So you'd hate to think what it felt like underneath it. That's a left alone ball from Elgar. Got to be careful out there, says Roof. Exactly right. Like, I got hit square on the top of my foot where there's like no protection whatsoever. There's no flesh there. But I'd rather get hit there 10 times than square on in the gonads. Nicely played by Elgar. Soft hands. As he's certainly going a little bit slower. Did you manage to open that link showing static electricity? Sadly, it didn't come through. I think that's just because YouTube have this thing against like foreign links. What you might be able to do is if you write all of it and then put a space, or if you put all of it and then enter, write the message and then have the second message with like whatever the .co.uk or .org. Whatever it is on the next line, it might let you get away with it. Go Maz, go Nads. Yeah, go Nads. There's plenty of names for them in there. End of the 12th over, 58 for none. Working well at the moment for SA. Sounds like another change of bowler. Who's it going to be this time? That is la question. That was not French. Speaking of French, they are playing this weekend in the Six Nations. Going to be France versus England. We will be covering that game on the channel alongside Italy versus Wales and Ireland versus Scotland. Of course, Ireland-Scotland would have felt a little bit bigger had they beaten France in the most recent game, but it would have been nice to see two sides on the same points. So who knows what is going to happen. Followed by Unit, says Joss. Right, once again, it seems like it knows that it's a link. Why is it being annoying, Joss? In fact, you have my email, don't you, Joss? So do you want to send it to that instead, perhaps? An ouch Hamish, the foot or the hand, that's lethal into the game for some players. All bit of a mix-up. Holder is actually into the attack. Placing Kumar Roach. It was a strong sneeze. The head is also very dangerous. Head crackers, says Ruth. Holder, 62 matches, 151 wickets. He's been struggling a little bit with bat and hand. I will try, says Joss there. Yeah, if it doesn't work, all good. Don't panic too much. Trying to think of what other science experiments we did at school. I can't remember many. I know we used to do things with beakers and like Bunsen burners. They were always fun. Howdy, says Carl. Welcome in, Carl. How are you getting on? Elgar, 32 off 38. A very good start to this matchup for the Proteas. Markram at the non-striker's end actually went from the aggressor, and also searching for your email. What does it start with? What does it start with? That's a brilliant question, Joss. It starts with the and then M should come up if you do that. I've just realized how wrong our email is. Because it's actually based off our old YouTube channel rather than this one. Fun fact. Elgar, 32. Closer and closer to his half century here. Just the one run off his 3 first deliveries. That extra height might be handy for them. One more. We'll go like this and like this. Showing Aiden Markram 2 innings and he's already had his best total in terms of runs since. Wait, no, it says average, in fact, that they are showing there. Having an average of 92 currently. Side of our stump left alone. So, Carl, I guess I should ask what happened at the old event. I'm good. The pay per view was so great. That Iron Man match was excellent. Says just Carl. I ended up actually buying it that evening, Carl, because I was going to get it on the zone. And then they were like, hey, you had to buy it before the pay per view took place because now it's not available. So I ended up getting it on Fight TV to watch it. I may have seen you in the crowd, even though I have no idea what you look like. So I possibly did, but I didn't, if that makes sense. Yeah, some very good matches on that card. Did you go for the pre-show as well, Carl, in terms of the one with Ray Phoenix and whatnot? Briscoe in it? Will be the end of the over, 60 for none. South Africa still doing this relatively comfortably in terms of ticking over their runs. Going to grab some breakfast now. Toasted egg, bacon with cheese. See you all soon. That sounds really, really nice. Ruth, I feel like I wouldn't mind a sandwich of some sort. George loves a toasty. I believe he's enjoying using his new toasty machine, even though he keeps it relatively secret. He said that he's waiting till we do the podcast. Nicely done again. Mayers continuing on. He's gone for the 10 runs. I was sitting by the hard cam, so I don't think he would see me lost, says just Carl. Would have been quite interesting seeing what like goes into that hard cam in terms of what setup they've got behind it, unless it is just a camera, or do they have like a little designated like zone for them? Cut them off. And can't go wrong with a simple toasty machine. Exactly right. Yeah, I arrived at the venue 2 hours prior to the start. Obviously, you were keen. What you're telling me? So, was your favourite match the Iron Man match, or did you have another favourite match other than that on the card? And oops, shouting, says Nutty Williams. Side off stump left alone. 125 Ks. Off cutter there. And I, George, Toasties are heavenly. Hamish might send you one too. And so I watched the pre show and all the festivities, says just Carl. I'm sure if you told George you'd send him a toasty in the like mail from South Africa, he'd still be slightly keen. That's a great back foot shot. That is just straight through the offside from Markram. Got into position early. That's one of my favourite shots to play. Just a camera and a few sound crew. It's just Carl there. Crowd celebrating that one. Cheese and onion with 2-minute noodle chicken powder on it. Yum. I've never heard of that combination, Nazi. I don't think it would be too bad, would it? It's a great shot from Markram, though. Looks like there's an acre of space out there and everything's coming out of the middle. These Windies bowlers are so tall. Also, we have got the Yes Iron Man match and that Trios title match. But all the matches were great, says just Carl. Yeah, there were a lot of good matches thrown in there. That Trios match, I feel like seeing so many of those, or seeing one team made up of guys who were in WWE and weren't really getting used, and now they've got championships and other things is quite cool. I actually quite enjoyed the tag team match when that big fella got in the ring and then Billy Gunn whipped out the leg drop on the back of his head. That was quite fun. And budget combo, bro, says Nuzzy Williams. I mean, if it works though, like you can't really go wrong with 2-minute noodles if you're on a budget. They're not supposed to be great for you though, are they? They're supposed to like sit in your stomach or something. Or the stuff that they're coated in is supposed to be like really bad for you. But they're cheap. So people like them. Like you could buy like 3 packs of 2-minute noodles rather than an apple. And those form ain't been great lately. And the dude I look forward to watching batting is, or in the West Indies, is Chanderpaul Jr. Yeah, he's got a good, unique style that just is a throwback to his dad. My favorite has to be club toasted bacon, cheese, tomato, chicken, delicious. And MJF threw tequila on a kid. What a douche. Was it tequila? I thought it was just water, but the kid, I felt bad for him, but then it was also like it plays into him so well, doesn't it? Like it's bad to laugh, but it's funny. I can eat 2-minute noodles, says Nov Mum. Mm. See, the question is, oh no, never mind. I almost answered my own question. I was going to say, if you bought some pasta and made it that way with some slightly fancier, like San Remo ones, but then you wouldn't have the chicken flavor. I don't think chicken stock would do the job. So you need some form of chicken protein. Good for you. Get that going. Chicken and noodles. Holder outside of our stump. What we recently found that were quite enjoyable is those jars that come with like a curry sauce or something in them. That you just chuck the chicken that you've diced up into, mix it around, put some rice with it, and bam, Bob's your uncle. You got a meal. I feel like this is becoming. How do we always end up talking about food? Who started it? I think that was you, Ruth, for that one. I cannot put tequila or kids in the same sentence. Says Ruth. Holder pitching it up. Well played by Markram. Worried he's going to play it a little bit too late soon and end up accidentally chopping it onto his stumps. Playing it with very soft hands, though. There, Timber Bavuma. He won't be looking forward to his innings so much as since getting the captaincy, he's had that captain's curse on him, losing the wickets extremely early. The first 2 times that he did bat as skipper. There's a lot of South African players there, though, who are looking pretty casual. And it is his character. So, yeah, the kid got free tickets and went backstage to meet the wrestlers. I knew that there'd be something in terms of they'd have to give him something. Because you can't just pour water on a kid and then be like, haha, laters. I assumed he would have got a shirt or something like that. Tuck's butter chicken jar sauce rocks. That's the one I'm talking of, Nazi. You are onto it, bud. Just called you Bud. Feel like we're on a Bud basis now, but yeah, that's the good stuff. And whether you like spicy or mild, they've got a mild version, which is actually the one I go with. Just because I find when things are too spicy, you can't taste them. You just taste spice. Unpopular opinion. And hold on, what amazing surnames the West Indies have. Interesting. When I'm hungry, I eat like a lion. Says Ruth there. Mm. See, that seems to be me after the long weekend of cricket and rugby commentaries. I'll get to like a Monday and I'll just eat everything. But then that's normally because I've missed out on quite a few calories over the weekend because I've been so concentrated on live streaming that I've only eaten like chips over like 2 days. So I'll end up eating a whole heap of extra food over the weekend or after the weekend and then just be full for 2 days. It's going to be the drinks break though. 15 overs down, 66 for none. So they are going decently for that over rate. That looks like a plate of fruit that they're bringing out for the West Indies. They got bananas, they got apples, got all the good stuff. Oh, to mention the Texas death match. Oh my goodness, talk about pure violence, says Just Carl. Says, yeah, it was weird that match. It was kind of like, is it? No. They do have a little bit of the old blading, don't they? Because like when Daniel Bryan got busted open in that MJF match, I was like, what hit him? Was it MJF's elbow? Because it was a diving headbutt, I think, wasn't it? Oh no, sorry, when MJF got busted open from the diving headbutt, and I was like, but it had a shoulder. So was it the like, did the elbow come down and get him? But like, yeah, John Moxley and Hangman Page went at it a little bit. That was the match that I was going to show George if I was going to show him any. Patak Indonesian or Malaysian. I'm not sure where it originates. All I can tell you is it's a value for money. Like when you get it on special, 50% off. I feel like we're now talking about budgeting and whatnot, which is a good thing to do. But yeah, when you get it for 50% off, you're looking at a $3 extra little like dish to add on, and it's bloody nice. It's bloody good stuff. Gonna have to get ourselves a wee sponsorship from Patak, I'd say, if we're gonna continue talking about his sources the way we do. I am no joke, Googling his source at the moment to find out what like place it comes from. Bucks, yeah, it's $6 at the moment. You wait till that's 3 and you got yourself a bloody good jar of sauce for not too much at all. Where are you from, Patak? Established 1958. Where's he from? Tak made in the okay, it's made in the UK. That wasn't where I was gonna be guessing. Undertaker, favorite wrestler, beautiful long hair and black ankle length leather coat and leather hat, says Roof. Yeah, I feel like when the Undertaker's music played, you were in for, like, something special, you know? Is he gonna return at WrestleMania in LA? Who knows? Wow, that went blurry. Apparently, we're at the drinks break. But MJF bladed himself too deep because that blood was pouring out. Yeah, so he got it a little bit wrong, I think. But I'm not sure whether or not that was the right moment for him to do it, type thing. Because, yeah, like I mentioned, like the camera angle, Daniel Bryan hit him on the shoulder about there. So I just assumed that the elbow must have like got him as well. Yeah, he was pouring out a little bit, wasn't he? But then the finish was interesting. A lot of near falls. 66 not out partnership between these two throughout the first 15 overs. 91 balls faced. So they're actually going very well at the moment, the South Africans. Their run rate's holding up nicely, sitting at almost actually over 4 and over. They are scoring now. Oh, here we go. Motti coming into the bowling attack. The spinner for the West Indies. Slow left arm off spin, I believe he's doing. So that'll mean that he is the equivalent of a right arm leg spinner. So this ball should be coming back into Elgar, and then it should be going away from Markram, I believe, if he gets it right. So that comes in, well fielded by the West Indies, keeping him on strike. Give Giveaways commentary is saucy, adds spice and zing to the sports matches, says Ruth. They got 2 more days in Kelly, then it's back home, says Jessica. Have you enjoyed your trip so far, other than the pay-per-view? Did you get up to much else while you're over there? Roach throws that ball in. They'll just take the one right now. It should be spinning away from Markram. The question is, will he go round the wicket or will he continue over the wicket here? Mark and centre here, Markram, just making sure he's got his feet in the right place. Jeez, Motti's got huge bloody hands. You can see why he's a spinner. Grip that ball in 2 fingers. That one spun a bit, though, on the surface. And he hit out to the man at deep cover. They will take the one. Yeah, I'd say that probably spun about a foot, which is ideal for him. Just saying that maybe there is a bit more spin on the surface, hence why both sides did go with the spinning option of Maharaj and Motti here for the West Indies. It was a bit too full, though. Be whipped away, and that's going to race to the boundary. Well timed by Dean Elgar. Not even trying to overhit it, just gliding it straight out to the man in the deep. Be very happy with that. They've said quick outfield. Yeah, it is a good shot from Elgar. Just tapping it. That was me making the sound effect of the ball hitting the bat as well, dude. It's going to be hit down the ground. I believe they will once again take one. Yes, they do. He did a lot, actually. I'm heading to Los Angeles later. Ooh, fancy. Good old LA. What does one do in LA nowadays? They've got a big casino, don't they? Or they've got, what do they got? Big casino, I think. Like casinos are bad places. Of course, that's what I should say. Gamble responsibly. What else has LA got? I keep on confusing LA and Los Angeles or Las Vegas. I don't know why. One of them's got the strip. I think that's Las Vegas, isn't it? Markram sitting on 190 runs so far throughout this series. Doing very good. I'm not sure what was said there. I think that was one of the West Indian players talking. I was trying to eavesdrop, but I didn't catch much. I just drank a lot of water in one go. It's going to be Jason Holder continuing from the golf course end, I believe. Here he comes. 2 overs, 2 runs off him. Can he get a wicket, though? The main thing, he hasn't played at that one, Elgar, so just left alone. Like I mentioned, we will just be covering the one session today of the test match. We are possibly having a bit of a mash-up of what we're doing tomorrow. I think we may end up doing a bit of NRL, perhaps the Panthers taking on the Rabbitohs. That is one option. Alongside that, we could be doing some of this test match as the first session. Then if we don't do that, we've also got India versus Australia as an option. Although I do have cricket training during the first hour of that, the first 2 hours of that matchup. And then there's also New Zealand, Sri Lanka, which I wish I could cover, but I'm too scared of the Sri Lankans because they love a good copyright strike shot from Algar again. Believe they've got the man out there in the deep. They do it. It's Roach. Throws it back in, keeps it to 1. Algar's done to find the middle of the bat very nicely ever since dropping that captaincy. It shows how much you can weigh on your shoulders. Not a lot of fun. I think that's why I quite like my team because I am not actually captain. And when I was younger, I used to be in that kind of captaincy-ish role. Now I just get to act as one of the senior players in the team, even though I'm like fifth youngest or fifth oldest, I think. We've got at least 4 players, if not 5, who are older than me. But I think because I'm almost around the same age as the geezer who's in charge, we kind of cool like that, you know. Me and him are gangsters. We're what do you call it? Homies. Me and him. Never sounds cool when I use gangster words, does it? Oh, God, sitting on 41 off 49. Amish, I'm going to get you hopefully this week and have a good one, says Just Carl. You too, mate. Hopefully you do enjoy the couple of days that you got left. And then also, I guess depending on when you fly will depend on when we see you again after you are traveling. More likely. So, yeah, have a safe flight if we don't see you before then. Forward to catching up with you a few days' time. Played again by Elgar. Good evening, Hamish, says John. Welcome in, John. We are doing well. Good start to this match for South Africa, sitting on 75 for none, which my scoreboard does not show. There we go. That's better. Has updated. Yeah, it's been a good start to this match for South Africa. The West Indies, you'd have to say, they haven't even had a half chance yet, other than that one that Markram swung at outside of off stump and he missed. That's the only thing you would say is a half chance. Other than that, South Africa looking very safe throughout this first little while. Nicely dabbled there again by Algar. Works it down to Roach for 1. You see the disappointment on Holder's face. Getting close to picking up a wicket, but just missing out narrowly. Just showing all of those shots that we're seeing from Algar and Markram. They're actually showing the variation of length and line that the West Indies are bowling, and there has been quite a few changes. And I also covering the New Zealand Sri Lanka Test match. I will not be, believe it or not, even though New Zealand are playing in it. That is one match that we won't be covering due to a Sri Lankan YouTube channel that did copyright strike us the last time we tried to cover a Sri Lankan match. The funny thing about it is they also don't show match footage or audio, but they claim that we were showing their footage, so they copyright struck us. That was a fun debacle we had to go through a couple of years ago. So I just decided, nope, Sri Lanka can have their matches without us. Currently 45 minutes remain in the first session. I think South Africa, if they can get out of the session completely unscathed, 450 or 500 needs to be the minimum that they score. Oh, good ball though from Motti. Went for 7 runs in his first over, but if he keeps bowling like that, should have a decent chance of picking up a wicket. Elgar has to be patient though, not rush this. Oh, slightly wider. Nice drive. Didn't quite carry to Chanderpaul, but he got a good amount of it, Elgar. Out of the middle of the bat. I'm thinking Elgar's going to drive it one outside of our stump, get an inside edge onto his stumps at some point throughout Motti's bowling. There you go. That's a prediction and a half. That's up in the air. He's taken. Well, he's not going to because he's just been dismissed, although they're going to check this one to make sure that he didn't put it down. But Motti might have just taken that wicket, and it was in a completely different fashion to what I said. He actually tried to play the sweep shot, got a slight top edge on it, and it carried just enough to the West Indian fielder. Right, they're going to check to see if it's carried. Soft signal is out. Now, Elgar straight away decided he wasn't walking off the field till he sees this replay. So it'll be interesting. How many times will they look at this one? Hopefully not too many. It's either going to be the dismissal of Elgar or he will get to stay out there for a bit longer. 42 off 54. He's sitting on currently. That ball was dropping into the hands. That's completely fine. It's a great catch from Roston Chase, and that will be the first wicket down now for South Africa. And it will be the ex-skipper Elgar who is sent on his way. 42 runs off 54 deliveries. That's going to be out. Now, I think they've gone with the Sawsey as a third man here. Tried to swipe it away to the leg side, just didn't get much of it at all. Seemed like a risky shot to be playing to a spinner who you've only witnessed about maybe 7 or 8 balls at that point. Just spun a little bit further down the leg side, getting the top edge. And great take from Roston Chase. Get underneath it. Slammed himself on the ground as well, but did manage to catch that one. I wonder whether they'll go with spin from both ends at some stage throughout this day. I think even throughout the next session might be when they decide to go spin both ends just to try and help them out. Trying to sell me a fridge for $2,000, but doesn't make ice. I have an ice dispenser. That is the type of fridge that I am keen on. If I ever was to get a fridge, I want one that either has the little button that makes the water come out or one that has the ice. But then also, if you don't have that, like a $5 one would be fine. Now they're trying to sell me bread. I'm all right at the moment for bread, thank you. A first wicket falling. Elgar, a man who's dismissed. He'll be disappointed with that, as he was just about getting towards half century. So now Markram becomes the set batsman. The youngster, Tony de Sawsey. Opportunity here. Nice bit of spin available still for Motti. Does pick up the early wicket. He just swatted at that one. Didn't get much of it at all for Elgar. Well set field. All that's down the leg side. That is much better than the way that he's been able to play. Roston Chase able to push it away to his teammate. Like I've said, top edge did come in just because it was a bit too short. Elgar, frustrated, angry at himself, as you would be. Nice bit of spin there outside of our stump, trying to lure in Marker into playing maybe a possible drive. 77 for one, end of the over. Very good over. 40 minutes remaining of this session. If they can pick up 1 or 2 more, it'll be pretty massive for them. But it's going to be the tricky part, picking up those extra couple wickets. Markram will be a great one to get about now. Bavuma, get him at the crease while he's low in confidence, maybe pick him up early. Then you get Ryan Rickleton for the crease. A little bit of an unknown just with how little he gets selected in the South African side. Right. Here comes the big man again, Jason Holder. Sawsey leaves that one alone as it travels across his face, across the front of him. I think the thing is as well, Holder at this end is actually tying them up quite nicely, which does create that little bit of extra pressure to try and go after the spinner because you're not scoring at one end. You feel you should be at least scoring at one of the two options. Elgar went quite aggressive with that one down the leg side. We now Sawsey now going to be on strike. One off three. Ooh, left that one. It was coming back in a little bit. See that they've still got the two slits, but no longer the three. The man in gully. It was a great drive from Elgar initially, the ball before. Yeah, that one down the leg side. Good take from Roston Chase. You can see the disappointment though. He knew that that was where should have been getting a bit of big innings. Oh, they've actually gone back to the three slips now. They've decided that Holder's getting that one to move just enough. Add a nice little bit of excitement to the cordon. Just thinking about other bowling options. I don't think Joseph will come back in anytime soon. Just because they seem to want to go after him. I think the only way Joseph comes back in is if Markram also ends up dismissed. Left alone again. Outside of off stump, Holder just getting that line right to Sawsey, not willing to go for it yet. Willing to watch that one. I think Roach will be in before we see Alzari Joseph again, and then maybe we even see Roston Chase get a bowl here at some point soon. See if the spinners can pick up the wickets. But I would say that Roston Chase will probably replace Motti once he's finished his spinning, and then Holder will be replaced by Chase. That's the two I think they'll go with. Charging in again, Holder. He is going around the wicket this time, trying to lure him into playing once again. Gets it in the right place, but DeSauzy's patient. Going after the wrong ball. That is the main thing. A D&P bow. I don't think I've seen one of those before. A D&P. Not that I can think of anyway. New bat. Hopefully it goes all right. Thank you. I'm yawning again. Ooh, we thought about it. There's half a second there that DeSauzy thought he might be able to get away with a cover drive, but leaves it alone into the over. And it is going to be 77 for 1 now. Just the one wicket down currently for the South Africans. Now for West Indies, they know that this is their moment. If they get themselves a wicket here, it will be absolutely massive for them. What we're going to do is we're going to go like this. We're going to go like that. And like that. There we go. Ooh, well stopped there by Motti. So Motti, they've got the man at slip, man at bat pad, and then just on the verge of the screen there, I believe they have still got Roston Chase, that catching option on the leg side. Pitched up, lot of flight on that one. Markram smashed down the ground straight to the fielder though, and Mayers, and he'll get just the one. Now DeSauzy was able to get himself a single off the bowling of Motti in the last over. Oh, pitches it up. DeSauzy goes after it. A little bit too overpitched. That delivery does a race away to the boundary that time. Sawsey now moves up to 5 off 9. Amelia's back. Welcome back, Amelia. You are doing well. Are you excited for India versus Australia, their test match, when it does start up tomorrow? Yeah, that was just a Yorker length. Sawsey just making sure that he gets the timing right. Finds the gap. Oh, drag down rubbish from Morty. He's starting to struggle a bit here. That one's going to race away to the boundary as well. And now that is actually 2 fours in a row for Disordersy. And both of them, to be honest, they've both been gifted. All he's had to do is just pretty much play his shots. Bit short, almost smacks into the West Indian player's toe, who wouldn't be too happy about it if it had hit it. Oh, man, that's close to his toe. In fact, it may have hit it. Because it's something to watch on the way home from TAF, says Amelia. Now, nicely worked away for the Sawsey. This will be at least 2 runs. In fact, oh, it's just stopped. Added to my DVD collection this week. What did you end up getting, Amelia? The DVD wise, I managed to run 3. The Sawsey now moving up to 12 off 11. So 3 bad balls in a row from Moti has led to De Sawsey now not having a lot of pressure on him at all. I wonder whether or not he does prefer bowling to the right-hander, even though we did see get the wicket of Elgar. Down the ground again, Markram gets the single. Got Angel has fallen and Les Miserables. Les Mis, I'll call it. Angel has fallen. Is that because it's got Gerard Butler in it? Amelia, have you gone into a Gerard Butler phase? Maybe. And how much do you think South Africa will score? I think even with that early wicket of Elgar, or that wicket of Elgar just before, I think they're still going to find themselves probably around 416. Very specific. We'll go with that though. 416 runs for the South Africans, if not maybe 458. I've already forgotten those 2 numbers I just said, but we'll go with those 2. They are smacking the daylights out of those drums at the moment. The band. It's a hot enough day to be playing the drums for the full day, I would think. Now Holder, he's gone for 5 runs of his 4 overs. Markram on strike. Oh, just managed to get that one. It was a bit of an inside edge. People call me crazy for collecting DVDs in 2023, but I won't be the one complaining when the internet goes out, says Amelia. As long as the power also doesn't go out. Unless you got a portable DVD player. Those used to be brilliant for in the car. That's like me as a child, I should say, using one of them rather than me giving it to a child. But yeah, portable DVD players. Underutilized, I think. Not really. It's because of his Phantom. I've started to give some of his other movies a go, says Amelia. I thought it might be the case. That because he was in Phantom of the Opera, might see what else he's been up to. Are you covering Sri Lanka versus New Zealand? We aren't. We're going to be watching it, but not covering it for that test match, mainly because of copyright. Did you win your game on Saturday? Well, John, it was going to be quite the intense contest, I tell you what. They were bringing players over from Australia, getting ready for their playoff game, and then it rained. And because of the rain, it meant that the game was cancelled. And luckily, because we were sitting a little bit higher than them on the table, we went through to the final on a technicality. So it's a cheap way of getting through. I would have much rather play that match, see how it ends up going. But yeah, it's a shame. So we've got the final this weekend, and it's actually going to be a home final for us. I've got a portable DVD player and a DVD player, says Amelia. Did you win your game? Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? You're covering Bangladesh versus England? Not sure yet. Depends on the overlaps that do end up showing up for it. Because I know that they play tomorrow night at, I believe, 10 p.m., which is the same time as the West Indies do play South Africa, and also the same time that the Penrith Panthers play the Rabbitohs. Nice bit of swing available for Holder here, early to De Sawsey. The thing is, though, I've already seen all 3 has fallen films on Netflix, but I just wanted them DVD in case it leaves Netflix, says Amelia. Strategic. See there, Marco Janssen. Not playing in this matchup. Just getting to watch. I feel like being a player in a 5-day test and getting to watch your team play would be quite cool. Even though, of course, you want to be out there as a professional cricketer, but just being in the environment would be quite fun. Sawsey, nicely hit. Now 13 off 14 deliveries. Markram sitting on 32 off 58. I watched all three of them on Saturday because I don't go. Well, I didn't go to day 2 and 3 because of my energy levels being low. Says Amelia. It's actually very good weight distribution from the Sawsey. The way that he did bring it forward, but then still kept it low. I see he won't stream any cricket tomorrow morning. I'm saying tomorrow morning since I'm in the UK. Says Ahmad. Not sure. The thing with the cricket live streams is they normally, depending on when they start, is the tricky part. Like we may end up covering a second session of a day rather than a first session. Just all depends on, I guess, how it really ends up sitting, if that makes sense. Like for us, 9 p.m. with these ones starting are normally a little bit of an in-between time. Like I had cricket training tonight, so we managed to finish that just in time to come home, cook something to eat, and then jump straight on the live stream. Whereas tomorrow we've got cricket training again, but we may end up finishing slightly later, which is why this live stream actually only got scheduled an hour before we went live, was just because of overlaps with real life stuff as well. So it's a tricky one because test match sessions are good because they're 2 hours, so it's nice and easy to fit them in. But then a T20 match is a bit trickier because it's about 3.5 hours. And I believe they do play tomorrow night, don't they, Bangladesh? Bang, Bangla, Bangla, Bang, Bangladesh versus England. Yeah, tomorrow 10 p.m. So it's an awkward one because it's right when everything's happening. And you need your sleep, says John. That is true. We've got a big final this weekend, and I don't want to fall asleep in the field. I think from doing YouTube, I have got used to getting minimal sleep just because I find it very hard to say no to streaming certain matches. Like a lot of the matches I enjoy doing, or I really enjoy doing. Some of the matches, when I'm sleep deprived, I feel like I forget what's going on in the actual game. That's a great shot. Another 4 runs. But I end up doing them because I don't want to let people down. And I feel like that's like me in real life as well. I end up doing things at random hours just to, you know, get them done. There's a good mindset to have, I guess. Always keeping you busy. It's a nice shot though. From Markram playing extremely late. Saw the length, so knew that he could drop back. We organised the drum, so you should hopefully hear the Rebels active on Friday. Says Amelia there. So they'll be at their game versus the Waratahs? No, their game versus the Reds. I think they play one of those two sides, don't they? The Brumbies play the Reds, so I think it must be Waratahs versus the Rebels Friday night. And streamer addicted, says John. I don't know if it's more addicted, it's just more shot. It's more I don't like letting anyone down. And I always feel like if I don't do a stream, I'm letting a lot of people down. Whether that's like one person or whether that's 10, 20 people. Definitely if I've got a stream scheduled and then either have to change it because of something coming up in real life or just because I'm too exhausted to do it, I always feel terrible about it. It was a great shot though from Markram, using the feet, getting down, cutting it off, and yep, versus the Waratahs. There's Amelia there. Another short ball, great drive. Gonna be one. I'm just hoping bloody Xavier doesn't break it before kickoff, but the drum looks more durable this time, says Amelia. So my little brother is going to be at the game. It's his first rugby game he's going to, and he's very excited, says Amelia. Nicely done by Markram. Oh, that kid's worked out how to make a 4 on his fingers. Is that a 4 or is that backwards? That's backwards. Is that a 4 now? Then that's good for me, but that's not good for you. There you go. There's a 4. Is that a 4? Yeah, that's a 4. We'll go with that. Fair enough, says John. That kid was smarter than me, and he was like 5. 22 overs down, and already the 100 runs on the board for the South Africans, almost going at 5 and over here. Not a bad start at all for the Proteas. Got 25 minutes remaining of the session. If the West Indies want any chance of coming away as the session victors, they will probably need 1 wicket and then another one after that. Another 2 before they end up winning the session. Current run rate was 4.64. And little man is helping me with drum duty Friday. Just hope you don't break the drum, says Amelia. What type of drum is it? Is it a bass drum or a little pitter-patter one? And what is the West Indies squad? One moment, we'll quickly get it up. I know that they've made one change from last week, and that is Motti now in the bowling attack rather than Shannon Gabriel. That is one that they did decide changed. That is going to be Alzarri Joseph not quite starting the over that he wanted to, or starting the over the way that he wanted to. We'll go like this and like this. So, West Indies, they have gone with, it is Craig Braithwaite, Tanjanarayan Chandapal, Raymond Reefer, Jermaine Blackwood, Kyle Mayers, Roston Chase, Joshua De Silva, Jason Holder, Alzarri Joseph, Kumar Roach, and also Gadakesh Motti, the new man, and that is for Shannon Gabriel, who has been taken out. Whereas South Africa actually made 4 changes. They got rid of Peterson, Janssen, Nokia, and also Muthusami, the last man they got rid of. It's like one of those tambourine things minus the bells on it, whatever you call it, says Amelia. Okay. You know what you should get, Amelia? You should get one of those hands, you know, the ones that have like a set of 2 or 3 hands that you go like that and they clap. They make a hyper noise. They're quite annoying, but they're effective when you want to make a bit of extra loudness. I still have one from a Brisbane Lions AFL game I went to ages and ages ago. Yeah, you just slap them back and forward and the hands all kind of go, That was a weird noise. Zadie Joseph, for 26 of his first 4 overs, with an economy of 6.5. I don't know why when I was explaining what it sounds like, why I didn't just clap. Just makes that noise a few times in a quick succession. Nicely played off the back foot through the court, and that will be another 4 runs for Joseph. I opted to fix the drum that was broken with duct tape, but Xavier was helping on a new drum, says Amelia. So who's going to be playing the drum? Is he going to be playing the drum? Because I guess as a musician, you always want to make sure that your drum is in top physical condition. I don't know what you mean. One of them hand clappers. Yeah, one of those ones. Do you think the Melbourne Rebels would ever make a hand clapper? Or you could find like a Melbourne Rebels sticker and stick it on an already pre-made hand clapper? I'm on drum duty, says Amelia. Markram, 46 off 64. Pitched up, drove straight into. Oh, he's disappointed, Markram. He's been middling everything. That one he didn't quite middle and it went straight to the man. See him drop his head. Not happy with that one, but he's sitting on 46, so he's close to his half century. Now, I believe the last time we carried on to the last or the second session of day 1 because we wanted to see Markram get his half century. He looks like he's going to be able to get it a little bit earlier here than he did in the first session of the last test match. Short ball, ducks underneath it. That'll be the end of the 23rd over, 108 for 1. So a bit of a better over from Joseph there. Still ended up going for, I believe, the 6 runs off it. But that's actually better than his previous economy. Also, have you seen some of the charts we've come up with? I have not, other than maybe one that you put in the chat the other day. Rebels, was it the Rebels Till I Die one? I think I've seen that one, but other than that, I haven't seen any of the others. If you have got more, tell us, Amelia. Says John. That is a big drum. You should get one of those, Amelia. Although those probably are quite expensive, those big bass drums, but those ones you can bang. I remember I was on the bass drum in music because I could play the guitar, but I decided for a certain song. I think we were doing "Take Me to Church" by Hosier, if you guys know that song. I felt like having a couple guitars was great and all, but having the bass drum in there, boom, boom, take me to church, boom, boom, you know how it goes, the boom, 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 boom. So I was on the bass drum, ripping that one apart. Cut shot, nicely played, chases into the bowling attack. But I can screenshot them and send it on Discord, says Amelia. That may be slightly easier. That is all right, Amelia. I can read some out. Markram sitting 46 off 66 deliveries. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I was a bass drum enthusiast or that I was any good on the bass drum. It was more just seemed like the right thing to do for the moment. So I got to carry around a massive bass drum, which made me feel like a big man. It's going to be a hit down the ground. Just one taken again. I think this is going to be quite a difficult little patch here for the West Indies. Because Roston Chase, he can sometimes be a bit more of some call him almost a part-time spinner with the way that he bowls. Sometimes they are just a little bit loose. That's a misfield from Tanjanarayan Chandapal. Manages to keep it to one, but he'll be disappointed with the misfield. It's made 3 singles already. I'm sending them now. So if I go like this, click that, click that, click that. Go mental score. Where'd that go? Oh, the Rebels chance. Go mental score try and when the players run out. That's not. Is that one of the chants? A mental score try and when the players, or is that part of the agenda? I guess you could say that is going to be Aidan Markram's 50 though. Very well batted. His 10th Test 50. That was a clap for him. Roston Chase, he's been expensive here. That'll be another single. It's 8 runs so far off 5. That just means go mental like cheer and stuff. Okay, I was wondering. And the Rebels, the triple clap. Andrew Callaway, Super Cal, Super Cal, Super, Super, Super Cal, Super Andrew Callaway. Chicken fresh. Nicely played off the back foot though. That punch has been effective for Markram so far. That's a better ball from Roston Chase. It just took 8 runs from to find his line and length. And the over 116 for 1. Certainly ticking over quite nicely. 6 overs they can bowl. Still remaining. I don't know if they'll get through all of them. They might get through a majority, though. Definitely if they've got Roston Chase from one end, but I don't know how long he will be in there. Whoa, there's actually a lot of chance. I thought it was just one sheet. There's like 7. Although that one might be the same as that one. Okay, that one's the same as the previous one, but those ones aren't. Bear in mind, Xavier come up with about 2 of them. I did most of the chance stuff. Here's Amelia. So you'll be looking forward to when Andrew Callaway comes back then, Amelia, won't you? You'll be able to test out the Super Cals one. 139k for Alzari Joseph. Markram now having 52 on the board. DeSorzi, I felt that they were a bit too loose to him when he first came to the crease. They were bowling very nice. My brother's got his favourite chant already. Is it the Super Cal or the Super Cals one? That was the Rebels Boys from Melbourne one. Rebel Boys from Melbourne. We travel near and far. You can hear us singing from the stands of Amy Park. Is that Ali, 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 or is that Olay? Is that Olay, Olay, Olay? Maybe. Olay, 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 Olay. Maybe. Not too sure. One of them. I'm sure. Joseph. He can pick up a wicket here. Yes, he's been expensive, but a wicket normally helps your figures out drastically. Oh, it was a good short ball. So you've spelled it the same way as on the sheet, Amelia, but I'm not sure whether that is Ale, 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 ale. Yeah, that is how it's spelt on the sheet, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it. My only little problem there. 3 balls left of the Alzari Joseph over. I was quite surprised by this choice. I thought they would have gone with Kumar Roach coming back in. I was half right when I said that they would replace the other spinner, Motsi, with the other spinner, Austin Chase. So you got to get him out early. He's still a little bit inexperienced. You got it right the first time. So it's Ali, or is it Ole? Score says Iran currently 117 for 1 at this point. 2 slips and the gully still in play for the West Indies. Nice straight delivery. Better over from Joseph so far, though. He was expensive in his first spell. Seems like he has brought it back a little bit more now. But yeah, Markram on 53, the Sawsey on 17, Nelgar dismissed on 42. Was the wicket of the new man, Morsi, was able to pick him up. I'm multitasking right now. I've got your stream on my PC. I'm watching the sequel to Phantom Love Never Dies on my telly, says Amelia. It is quite impressive multitasking because you'll have volumes coming from all directions, won't you? And ale, you got it right. That's how you say it. So it's ali, rather than ole. So first one, ali, like that. Sean Markram, he's actually scored 40 of his runs off boundaries. The man sitting on 53, so he's been effective. Well, he's been playing predominantly off the back foot to the spinners, and then getting onto the front foot, hitting them along the ground. No real risk at all from the shots that he's played so far throughout today. Can only think of one time that he's played a miss. And yep, you're at tomorrow, I think, says Amelia. Wait, tomorrow or I mean Friday, sorry, yes. Okay, no worries. Right, Roston Chase. Sawsey on strike, the left-hander, so Chase trying to get it to spin away from him. Nicely done again, whipped away. That's going to be at least 2 runs. Oh, the boundary, or the outfield, in fact, is so quick. Races to the boundary again. We've seen 24 so far from the South Africans. Kids in attendance absolutely loving it. Just whipping it off his pads. Great shot. I get Wednesdays and Thursdays confused, says Amelia. I'm a bit the same, to be honest, lately. It gets to Tuesday, and because we've been practicing on a Wednesday alongside Thursdays, it gets to Tuesday, I'm like, right, I've got cricket practice tomorrow, and then I've got Super Rugby the next day, or I've got live streams the next day, but then it's actually only Thursday. So, yeah, my brain gets scrambled midweek. Oh, that was a big exertion ball from Rustin Chase. A little bit frustrated there, I think. But yeah, we've got our cricket final this weekend, which is going to be a pretty awesome one, hopefully. Playing up a side or playing up against a side that scored pretty well against us last time. I believe our team managed to chase down about 230 off the 40 overs. Not an easy thing to do, but it's going to be one of those games that hopefully go our way. If it doesn't, I'm still very proud of what the team's been able to do up till this point. We haven't played in so many weeks due to rain, which is really a bit unfortunate. That's going to be the over. So 26 overs down 123 for 1. They can still bowl another 4 more overs. I don't think they'll get through all of them, but I think we'll get through 3 at least. Sawsey, 23 off 32. Markram stuck after getting his half century. He's on 53 at the moment, looking to slowly build back in, get towards that century. Right. So, yeah, they've got about 10 minutes remaining in this session. Looking at the big clock. Like they're saying, the West Indies, they won't be happy Like tomorrow, I got to pick up the drum, then go home, get my stuff for Taff. Says Amelia. I think I'll have to drink a lot of water over the weekend, or else I might lose my voice multiple times. I should mention we're covering a majority of Super Rugby games this weekend that I know of. The sevens, we haven't got any this weekend, so we will be able to sleep during the nights a little bit, but we've got the Six Nations, so that will also be thrown in there. We're hoping to do a bit of the NRL, Super Rugby as well. Like I mentioned, is going to be taking place. Cricket, maybe a bit of cricket thrown in there. Short ball from Joseph, nicely glided from De Sorzi down to third man. Another single taken. South Africa scoring very well. We're almost scoring 5 runs and over at this point. Hamish, I found a photo of Xavier and I on TV. Says Amelia. See, I didn't see you guys, but that might have been because I was doing a live stream with George. So I was probably looking at him for some of the moments when it would have been on the screen, perhaps. Plus, I think that Hurricanes Rebels game, I think that was one that we started a little bit late due to technical difficulties. Was it that match? It might have been. Shot. Oh, misfield. They'll take a single, but they will just get one for it. Yeah, there's water dripping off that roof, so I don't know what it is from last Friday. There's Amelia there. Yeah, so you want to have that fielding on point up against the side like South Africa. I think it just went through the hands of Rifa, unfortunately. You just got the fingertip to it. Fell awkwardly afterwards. Solid again from De Sorzi. And in behind it. Just doing maths in my head. So Chase will have the next over. Joseph will have the one after that. And then they may squeeze in one more. An Artie's throat slit action game, says Nuzzy Williams. Yeah, that one. The talking game of the weekend, I guess you'd say, or the talking point of the weekend. I sent you photos to show you, says Amelia, one mo. Like this. Oh, yeah, you got on Getty Images. A bit fancy. Where's the drum? It was already broken at that point, I believe. Is that the only one that they had of you on Getty? Or did you get one from like front on as well, Amelia? 179, I think they just said in the first session for England. Swazi, 24, 36. One ball left for Joseph. Cut shot away. They'll once again get another single. 50-run partnership. Well done by those two. De Sorzi's got 25, which does mean I believe Markram also alongside that has got the 25 as well. Little clap from Dean Elgar. Would have loved to be out there for a little bit longer than he was. Got himself up to 42, but then ended up getting dismissed with a sweep shot, the all dreaded sweep shot. 50 runs from 57 balls. A lot of children in attendance for this match, which is great to see. They're also all sponsored by KFC by the looks of it. KFC Mini Cricket in South Africa. I think they're having a count up of the children, trying to work out if they've got everyone. It's a great ball from Roston Chase, just outside of the off stump, getting to Sawsey, pushing at the ball, and didn't manage to get a little feather on it in the end. That's the length to go for. Get the Sawsey slightly coming forward. It was a good take from De Silva as well. Yeah, that's good. From Roston Chase. If he keeps bowling well like this, they might have time for those last 2 overs rather than just the one. Roston chase, drag down, cut away. Nicely taken by Paul. Hasn't had a misfield that time. Getting a wicket now would be massive because I believe if they get a wicket, they still continue with the remaining 5 minutes. Oh, what a ripper that was from Chase. That one spun and bounced. I've got footage of the TikTok. Uh, so we was on TV. I sent it to you. Says Amelia. One moment. Go like this. Go like that. Oh yeah. So is that when you? I assume that's when you were on the TV, as in like that was the cameras getting you rather than someone's smartphone, wasn't it? That was like the main cameras. See, I completely missed a majority of the crowd shots because George was here. George is a hectic fellow. Cut away nicely. Oh, misfield from Paul. It will race to the boundary as well. That hurts for the West Indies. You cannot afford to make those kind of mistakes. Into the over, 130 for one. That was at the very end of the Crusaders Highlanders game. Says Amelia there. The Swordsy rocking back. Paul just bounced awkwardly. Spun as well. I get main telly camera. This is Amelia. Right, this may end up being the last over of the session. Roster chase here, frustration. Seeing as it did go through, sounds like they've got a change of bowler. It's going to be Motti from this end. They may actually try spin from both ends to close out this one. And the Paul saying some bad words. You can tell he's not happy with his misfield. Although by the time Motti bowls this might be the last over because he is currently still warming up. 10:57 p.m. New Zealand time at the moment. They can go till 11 p.m. New Zealand time. Quite an aggressive field as well. Wicket keeper, slip, man at kind of a short mid wicket, a short cover as well. Markram just glides it through everyone. Gets it to the man at deep cover, Alzari Joseph. Gets the single. Sorzi. Motti, he's been expensive as well. He's gone for 32 runs, but he managed to get that wicket of Dean Elgar, which I think is the main difference. Motti again. Yep, it's not bad. They'll take the single. Comfortable one once again. Markram, I think he's in with a real shot of getting his 100 today, and I feel like that would have just jinxed him. So I do apologise to Markram there, but I think he's got a real good crack. He's looked solid. He hasn't even had any half chances to go out, which I think is the big difference. Sawsey, he looked a little bit hesitant at the start to the spin, but anytime it's short enough, he'll just rock back a shot or get it onto the leg side. Well played once again. Only 11:59 local time. I don't think they'll get through 3 balls. I think that one will take about 15 seconds to go through. So it all depends on what time is on the umpire's watch, I would say, because they've got 2 overs, 2 balls left at this one. Still 11:59. Why hasn't he bowled yet? I assume that maybe South Africa are doing the back tapping on the pitch, just trying to flatten it out. Yep, he was just stalling as much as he could, playing off the back foot again. They'll give it back to Motti, though they have to make sure that he doesn't try and rush this last ball. Markram will go off to the side. Normally, you're supposed to be ready once the bowler gets back to his mark. Markram. Now, solid. That will be the end. Oh, it just ticked over to 12 now. Did they get the time? Can they squeeze one in? Or is it the end of the session? Oh, they've got time. On the official big clock, they've still got about 4 seconds. One more. Right, that is something that Markram wasn't wanting. Marius Erasmus just asking, can we do one more? And he said, absolutely we can. So De Souza was half walking off the field. Now, this is interesting because De Souza in his mind would have gone, right, we're done for this session. But now he has to get back into concentration mode for 6 more balls where he has to make sure, like they said, the stadium clock was the one that they were relying on rather than the electronic scoreboard clock. Now, they've got 5 balls to try and get De Souza out. Get him while he's slightly lost concentration. Roston Chase, is he the man to do it? It's a nice straight delivery. Another dot ball. I don't see De Souza doing too much aggressive here. He'll still be relatively safe. One before lunch, how nice would it be as a chant I've just heard from one of the West Indies players. Good drive. Taken on the single, so that may be the last that we see a De Souza on strike for this session, but now it means that Markram will have to face 3 deliveries now. But I will mention this is the only session of today that we will be covering on the channel. But we will hopefully get plenty more of this test match in throughout the next few days. Whether that is going to be the first sessions or whether it is the later sessions of the day. More than likely probably later sessions, just so that we can have that little bit of time earlier on where we do everything sorted out. So maybe starting from about 12 a.m. tomorrow for the test match, if we do end up covering it. Work to the leg side for Markram. They thought about the quick run. They decide against it in the end. Markram, I mean, he's not happy. He's got a smile on his face now. I think in the heat of the moment, he thought that there should have been a run there. But he would have got like 3 steps down the pitch and then run out. Final ball, Roston Chase around the wicket. And well bowled to close out the session. A very good session for the South Africans, getting the full 30 overs in. 133 for 1. So it is a maiden almost for Roston Chase, other than that early run that he did go for off De Souza, just the one from it. Lunch on day 1, 133 for 1. Nonetheless, I think that is almost going to be the end of this live stream. I will probably keep an eye on this test match for the next hour or so while I am still awake. Done a bit of editing, getting everything prepared for the long weekend ahead of us. We have got Super Rugby, we've got some cricket, we've got NRL, we've got a little bit of the Six Nations thrown in there as well. Luckily, there's no sevens, or else I would have been absolutely shattered by the end of the weekend. We've got plenty more coming up in the near future. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But Markram sitting on 55. We did see the wicket of Algar getting dismissed for 42, and De Souza currently sitting on 31. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all some stage probably tomorrow.